This meeting is being recorded.
Let me hit got it, and then we can keep going. Okay, good. So in 2009, that's when we started with the bronze, and then we achieved the silver in 2010. And then it took us a little minute, but in 2014, we became the first gold recipient in the state of California, and only the second independent facility in the United States to achieve the gold quality award. So it was a pretty big deal for us. And I'm so excited that you guys there's 4 of you that are starting the bronze, and that is so encouraging. And then Rashmi, your team going for the silver, that's fantastic to hear too. So, but before I can tell you why we did it, I think it's important to understand a little bit about the program. So let me see. Okay, there we go. So it's a progressive program that has 3 levels. And I know you guys, this might be a little bit, you already know this, but I just want to go over it again. And it starts with the bronze, and that is the commitment to quality. This is just showing that you're making a commitment to get involved and get this party started. The second is the silver, and that's the achievement in quality. And it gets a little tougher, and Rashmi can say she's telling you that, she said that earlier. And then the gold is excellence in quality. But and each level has progressively higher standards for performance. So it gets a little bit more information each time. And the criteria, I'm sure you've all seen it, is based on the Baldrige Performance Excellence Framework. You all have a copy of this?
Yes.
So you can get it on the website, but I think Deanne is going to be dropping some stuff in the chat. So she'll probably drop a link to that, if I'm not mistaken. And this is a nationally recognized method for improving business performance. So it's really a great tool. Whether or not you apply for the award, it's a great tool to have to help your organization improve. But let's start with the bronze, because there's 4 of you that are going for the bronze, and that is so huge because it's foundational to the other levels. And what I want to tell you is, if when you get this framework, it's only like 15 questions that you have to answer about your facility. And I think it's actually less than 15 questions. But the good news for you is you're the expert. You're the one that knows your building better than anybody else. You know, it asks you things about your workforce, about who your customers are, what are your service offerings. You offer long-term, short-term, rehabilitation, skilled nursing, you know, those kinds of things. It asks what kind of equipment you have, who are your customers. So these are things that you know specifically about your organization. You know it, and I challenge you, and it looks like you guys are in. I challenge you to do it. Just set aside 4 hours of your day one day and get started on it. And you'll be so happy. It'll open your eyes to things, and you'll be like, oh, I haven't really thought about that, but that is important. So what I would say to you at this level, if you do not have a mission and vision and value statement for your organization, you're going to need to work on that, because they're going to ask you that throughout the rest of the application. So that's really important. And the other thing at the bronze level is your performance improvement system. So you want to make sure that you're able to talk about that. Those are the 2 toughies, I would say, at the bronze level. So when it gets to the silver level, it's a little more in depth, and it's based on a modified version of this Baldrige application. You address the categories and the results, but it's a little bit different requirement than the gold. So the 6 categories that you're looking at in the silver level are your leadership. How do your senior leaders lead? Your strategy. That's talking about your strategic plan and your action plans. How do you develop and how do you implement your strategy? It's talking about your customers. Who are your customers? Are they satisfied? Are they engaged? How are you doing that? And the silver's looking at those things. And knowledge management is the next process category that it addresses. Workforce, you know, who are your staff members? How are they engaged? What are you doing for them? Are they, you know, are they satisfied? And operationally, what are your work processes? Those are the things that the sixth category looks at. And then finally, it's going to ask you for results and the things that you're tracking and trending and using to make improvements in your organization. So it's really important at the silver level that you are looking at your results. And these could be things that you pull into your QAPI process. It could be all kinds of things. So, and it'll give you kind of a guide when you look at the results section in this document. It'll tell you what kinds of things that you should be looking for in tracking and trending. So this at the silver level is where I would say it started getting real for my organization. It, as a result of this doing the strategic, the silver level, we became very intentional about how we did things. We started seeing changes. We started tracking, we started trending, we really started looking at our data and using that data to drive our performance. And so our strategic planning, historically, prior to this program, we would do an annual strategic planning process, which was basically what I thought we should do the next year. We all signed off on it and put it on a shelf, and that was pretty much it. We didn't do a team approach or ask the staff or any customers or anything like that to participate in our strategic plan. So that's something that evolved through this process. Employee engagement, really looking at the engagement. We tracked satisfaction, but we were not thinking about engagement and what that meant for us as an organization. And then succession planning was another thing. We just never really put much thought into it. So these are things that we realized as a result of going through the quality award program. And then finally, when we got to the gold level, the final step, it required using the whole Baldrige criteria and in its entirety. It was intense, I'm not going to lie, but it was so worth it. So I had to apply a few times for the gold, but each time we would get that feedback and we would get a little better, and we would notice things like that could make us better. Like, for instance, innovation. We didn't really have a system. Like if somebody, a CNA, had an idea or something, how did that become something that we would consider to make a process improvement or something like that? So we developed an innovation management system as a result of the feedback we received on these applications. So it has a lot of potential, this quality award program, to help you even beyond winning the award. It really helps your organization to get better. So that being said, still, why did we do it? Why would we want to commit so much time and anything like that? And I'm going to tell you, in 2008, I was attending the American Healthcare Conference, and I went to the ceremony where they were recognizing the quality award winners, and I thought, what is this program? I'd never heard of it. I guess I just didn't pay attention. And you don't know me personally, but I'm very competitive. And I thought, you know what? My facility is just as good as those facilities. And I wanted to achieve this award. I wanted it for my team. I knew they were doing a great job, and this would be great recognition for them. But it's kind of just recognition, some kind of tangible thing that says, yes, you're on track. So I thought that during the ceremony. So then I went to the airport, and a person catching another plane next to me was one of the recipients of the Bronze Award. And I don't know if you've seen the Bronze Award, but it's a beautiful plaque. It's really beautiful. So they let me touch it, and I was kind of in awe, and I thought, oh yeah, this is definitely something we're going to do, because we need that in our facility. And so right then and there, I made the commitment as the leader of the organization to lead us through this process. And so that's kind of how we got started in the process. I knew we were a good organization. We had great survey results. We were a preferred provider. We had low turnover, but we wanted to not just be good, we wanted to be great. And so that's kind of where we started. And, I found this on the website that, outstanding organizations understand that to achieve a higher standard, it takes more than action and guesswork, which is what we were doing. You need a plan. And this Baldrige framework gave us that plan. It's just like a roadmap. And so for my organization, this quality award program became our map. It became something we could look at and say, oh, we should be addressing this. We should be addressing that. And it really helped make us better. So today, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I think you should apply for this award. And the first one is because it makes you stronger, it makes you more resilient, and it makes you more competitive. And if you think about how nursing homes are perceived right now, how our staff are just worn out, how, this is just what we need. We need to be stronger. We need to be more resilient, and we need to be more competitive too, because that's how we remain a viable business. So this program, it helps you prepare your organization to anticipate things, to prepare for things, to prepare for changes, to prepare for disruptions. And you could see how that is needed. Just the situation we found ourselves in over the past couple of years with COVID. If the more prepared an organization was, the better they did with, the whole COVID thing. So it can also help you increase your customer and workforce engagement. You become intentional about developing those relationships. And I know that I use the word intentional a lot, but I feel that is probably a key word for us. We made a point to look at these things. We made a point to have relations with our customers. We made a point to have good working relationships with our employees and our workforce. So, and again, you become intentional about your leadership, not just you as the administrator or the director of nursing or the director of staff development, your whole leadership team, how you're leading your organization. You become intentional about developing strategy. You don't just want to guess, oh, well, this might work. Let's just try it. You want to base it on facts. You want to be a data driven. You want to look at fact-based changes. And then, as you develop your strategy, then you want to implement that strategy. And this kind of just pushes you to do that. So jump in if you have any questions along the way. Feel free. So team building. This quality award program, it's not a solo event completed by the administrator. So maybe at the bronze level, the administrator might just write that and turn it in, and maybe no one else knows it. You might talk about it in your department manager meetings or something like that. But you can't do the silver and the gold level alone. It takes outcomes that are driven by your team. It takes input from other senior leaders and other team members. So it is a team building event. And going through this process, your team works together and you're working towards that common goal. And the team understands that their input matters and they become engaged. And the more engaged they become, the more committed to that team they become. So it really does impact team building. The third reason is that it drives results. So this quality award program, specifically at the silver and the gold levels, it prompts you to look at your organizational results and outcomes. You're not just going to haphazardly get your quality measure, quality indicator report and say, oh, there it is. Yeah, we need to improve on falls. You're not going to do that. You are actually going to take your data, and not just nursing data, but all kinds of data. Nursing from every department, nursing on community relations, nursing on impact, data on your grievances, just whatever. You're going to use that data to make positive changes in your organization. So if you follow the Baldrige criteria, you're going to start focusing on things like your healthcare and process outcomes. So, and that will include things like your quality measures. It'll include things like therapy outcomes and stuff like that. And then you'll also focus on customer results, your customer satisfaction, your customer engagement, your grievances, your theft and loss, whatever is related to the customer. Your workforce results, and that's similar in that you're going to be looking at their satisfaction, you're going to be looking at their engagement, and any other thing that's workforce related, their safety, do they feel safe at work? And then you're going to be looking at your leadership and governance results. And this could include things like audit results and outcomes from your survey and things like that. And then finally, you're going to be looking at your market and strategy results. And by strategy results, that's a really important one. You're going to be looking at your strategic plan and how are you doing in implementing that strategy? You want to see how you're doing over time. Are you achieving your strategy? And so that's really an important one. So you can find that data, if you look even on the American Healthcare website, it'll give you data that supports it. By participating in the quality award and being a gold or silver winner, they have a higher national average on performance measures, such as 5-star buildings. There's more 5-star buildings that are quality award winners. They have better survey performance. They have higher staffing, they have higher quality metrics. They have higher occupancy rates, and they have higher operating margins. So who wouldn't want that? I'm saying, why would you do it? Well, there's several good reasons right there. Just the outcomes that are associated with it are reason enough to participate in the program. The next one is that you learn from the feedback. And I know that later on, we're going to have a whole session about feedback. So as an examiner, I will tell you that we look at everything that an applicant turns in compared to the criteria and respond with feedback that'll help move you to the next scoring bracket. So if you take that data, that the information we give you in the feedback report, that will really help you not only improve your organizational performance, but increase your score when you are completing the application. So every time you submit an application, you get an objective written feedback report. And this is going to identify your organization's strengths, and it's also going to identify opportunities for improvement. So this is invaluable to you. And I can tell you, based on personal experience, that the feedback reports prompted innovation in my organization. And without it, we wouldn't have considered making changes in some areas, because you just don't think about it. It's like when you are in your office and your desk is messy every day, when you walk in, you don't see it, but when somebody else walks in, they see it. And so where you're blind to it, you might have a blind spot and can't see it, but this feedback is going to open your eyes to say, oh yeah, we should address that. That's an area that we could really do something. And finally, the fifth reason is recognition and pride. So this award, it's like I said earlier, it's an external acknowledgement that you are a high performing facility. There have only been 49 winners of the Gold Quality Award out of 15,000 nursing homes in the United States. So it's a big honor, and it speaks volumes about your organization. And you can share that with local hospitals. You can share it with your residents, their families, your referral network. And it's an acknowledgement of all the hard work your team is doing. So I do have a bonus reason, and that's because it gives you a reason to celebrate. And I'm all about a celebration. I love to celebrate. So here we are. This is when we won the Quality Award back in 2014. You would have thought that we had won the NBA Finals or the Super Bowl or the Stanley Cup. You know, we had confetti, we had t-shirts, we had a huge celebration. We invited the mayor. They made some big day about us in the city of Concord. We invited the Chamber of Commerce. We invited the hospitals. We invited our partners, our families, our staff and their families. It was a huge, huge thing, and the staff was so proud, and so you can see by the smiles on their faces and my big mouth wide open there that it was a phenomenal experience. So I want you to have that same experience. It's so worth it. So this is just short and sweet today, but what I want to offer to you is I want to be a resource to you. And there's going to be an entire series of these quickeners, 30 minutes or less. And I'm hoping that you'll follow along, but mostly I hope you start your quality journey, and that starts with the bronze and it continues on silver and gold. So I am putting myself out there to assist you in any way that I can. And if you need me to read your application, I'd be happy to do that. And what kind of questions can I answer for you today? Can be about anything. I can't see the chat, so maybe I'll stop share so I can see y'all's face.
So I know our time is up officially, but if you can and want to stay on to ask questions, Lori, myself, or even Alan, we can hang out for a little bit and do that. We only had the one question, which was, what was that book you were holding up? So I put that in the chat and a link to it, and also some additional resources.
Let's see.
There you go. There's the lighting.
There it is.
Yeah. So multiple resources there, and I can send anyone here the links to the applications or anything like that. But yes, does anyone have any questions? It could be specific to your facility, it could be general, whatever you want. So we'll turn it over to you guys.
Don't be shy.
Hello. So again, my name is Tanya Marie. I'm the nursing director up here in Big Bear. I'm absolutely brand new up here. So I've only been here a few months, and I'm just learning the culture and learning about just the facility itself and assessing for quality, which is huge for me. So what would you say would be the first steps that I should be doing? Should I just get the book and read it? What would be the first steps that I can be doing to do this?
Well, I think actually, if you do, because when you get the book, that if you go and download it and you turn to page 4, that's the organizational profile, and that's that whole bronze application, and that's really going to help you, since you're brand new, get to know the organization as well. I think it would be so helpful to you to do that, whether or not you apply, knowing the answer to those questions. But if you're gonna learn the answers, I would go ahead and apply, because you'll be the expert when that happens.
And I just dropped into the chat box the application link for the bronze, and that has those same questions, specifically just the bronze ones, because I know that book is very thick and can be very disconcerting if you're not super familiar with it. And then that's why AHCA does the steps to help kind of walk you up into the big book. And so that's there. And so if you're going to learn these, like Lori said, you can just go ahead and apply at this level, and like your whole team there at the facility can learn the whole thing together with you as you guys go through it. But I just dropped that link in the chat. It's
also important to note that there are a lot of educational opportunities that can walk you through that whole application process. So your takeaway from that session would be you will have your application written at the bronze level. That's not available at the silver. I mean, they have training for the silver, but they're not going to walk you step by step through that, because it takes a little more time to do the silver and the gold. So the bronze is 5 pages, and the silver, is it still 18? I don't examine the silver anymore.
25. It's 25 or 26 plus, your acronym page.
And then the gold is about 55 pages long. So, but there's formatting and stuff like that you have to consider, and lots of things. I will say too, a tip that I would give you is when you're applying, follow the instructions to a T. That's so important that you follow the instructions. If they say to write it out in this order, write it out in that in that order. You'll be amazed how many people do not do that, and they can get automatically disqualified. So follow the instructions. That's your biggest
And
thing.
it's also nice to follow the instructions for your examiners who are reviewing. We're supposed to be like, right, separate from it, but when the pages aren't numbered and we're trying to find stuff and all that kind of thing, it gets frustrating, and there is the potential that an examiner who are volunteers, by the way, may just be like, you know what, this is more than I can deal with because they haven't followed any of the rules. If they can't follow the rules, are they really a quality organization? So there's that other side of, so be nice to your examiners as well.
That's true. It's a great question. I think one good thing about it is for you, Rashmi, is that it's good nationwide. This would apply to all of your facilities in all the different states, New Mexico, wherever you said that they were, that you were having facilities now. So it's very applicable.
But you need to have all of your California ones do it.
Yes.
I mean, I love the fact that your whole company might do it, but you really needed your California ones on board.
Yes, no, I agree. It's just, they just have been swamped, whether it's census, ops, and they're just the time, right? It's
Sure.
Running a building is not the same as it was when I was doing it before
No.
COVID, right? So all
You're
the
right.
extra things that I'm helping the facilities with right now, they're just trying to stay on top of what needs to be done in the building. Anything I can help with on the outside is what I'm trying to help them with. So hopefully, they can get their hands on this.
Great. Any other
The cool
questions?
thing- I was gonna say the cool thing, Rashmi, about that is that, like Lori was saying, when you actually start working through this process, it makes you better at all of those things that you need to do. So you reduce the amount of fires, you improve your operations, the way you respond to things. So all of those things go smoother. And so you end up with more time. I'm like, right, you put the time in up front. And I know it's hard to
Right.
explain that as an administrator is sitting there under all the piles of everything. But the reality is you bring your team through this process, and all of those things become easier to do because of the process. So.
Right. It's what you're supposed to be doing, right? That's what an administrator does. That's what we do, right? That's what we're supposed to be doing. So, but I think that some, the administrators just can't see, beyond like what's all the fires that they're putting out all the
because
time.
it's so
It's just too hard for them to see that right now. So,
Right.
but hopefully we get there, right? Hopefully we get
I
there.
think you will. It takes having somebody, just one person that's committed to it, because it does need a champion. If you don't have a champion, then no one's gonna want to do it. And I found that organizations that force their people to apply, you can tell in their application when reading it that, so when you're committed to it, it makes it a lot easier to do.
Well, that's what we did was that first year we were like, all right, we're going to apply and we're going to do this. And when we did it, it was like, I'm like, I can't do your applications for you, and it was like, okay, I really can't do your silver application for you. It really needs to come from within you, like, what did you do? And that's why I think that we were not successful with Terrace's application, because it was like, it's your copies, it's what you did, it's like, I can't interpret your data. I wasn't in your building that, so I knew it was like, it was really forced. And that's why I knew like it was gonna be really difficult to push that one through. It has to come from within you and what you did.
Right.
So it was going to be a challenge doing it, but we wanted to try, so we did. And I just it wasn't a strong enough effort, right? Like I didn't feel it. So
well, that's the good news. You can continue to apply and continue to get that feedback, and just take that feedback and make some changes. So
unfortunately, when you have leadership changes and the turnover, it doesn't help, right?
Right.
So,
No, you're absolutely right. There are challenges, but I would just say stay strong and keep applying. That was for me. I had to apply for the gold a few times, and but we got better each time. So with each application, so I just stay with it. Don't give up.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Christy, Phil, anything from you before we wrap up today?
No, we are good. We're starting to brainstorm. We're really excited.
Good.
Excellent. All right. Okay, well, so thank you for joining us today. I know a couple of people already had to hop off, but we are going to be getting back together in July. We will be doing this half hour plus questions and answers every month through the end of the year. We have a couple months where we have 2 of them just because it's like crunch time. But we want to walk you through it. So right now, the big thing is take those links and pull down the application packets for the level of award that you are going for. And at least review them with your team, start looking at them. So that way you have some really fresh questions when we get together in July, and Alan will be walking us through his experience. And so that'll be a great time. And then we'll have a chance for more questions then. So have a great week, find all the materials, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Ladies,
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.